Welcome everyone, today's the day, how exciting. Ahead of the Women's World Cup in France, I have been discovering what fancy football games are available to us and I thought I'd make some content to share with you all. Now, we're seasoned FPLers and on that note, please go over and check out Fantasy Football Fix. They have some cool pre-season packs going on at the moment. They're my sponsors for my channel, so giving them a shout out if you just can't hold on any longer for some FPL. But when the World Cup comes around, we look for another game. And we usually look to FIFA to provide us with our summer fantasy fix. However, FIFA have dropped the ball on this one, I'm afraid to say. And in my opinion, they could have put it out there and made an official game for the women's football. It would have been a great way to teach us all about the game, about some of the women players, about who's out there, but they haven't done one. So I gotta say, I'm in no way an expert in women's football, and I am hoping by playing some women's fantasy football that I might learn a bit. So it's with thanks that we have to give to sheplays.com.au and fantasybet.com for giving us a platform in which to do this. With that, I feel like it's a good time to start uncovering a bit more about the ladies' game, and I love to learn about new things, as you guys know. So come with me on my journey and feel free to help me out as we go along. If there's something you spot in one of these teams, I know there's not long now to tinker, but if there's something you spot in these teams that's wrong, or you think there's something to add to them that you might like me to change, and you know what? If you make mistakes, let me know. If I can help you out, I will. Let's discover this together. Starting off, Fantasy Bet have sent me some cool information to share, so let's start there. Let's take a look at how the Women's World Cup team compares to the Men's World Cup team, so that'll be interesting. Here we go. Instantly, I can see that the United States are going to be a great place to look when it comes to considering our fantasy assets. They are the top ranking, which is a stark contrast to their male counterpart, who are ranked in 24th. So, Women's USA team, definitely a great pick, and I think they have a really cool fixture to start with as well, so we definitely want to be considering our assets there. Now, surprisingly, Germany's women's squad are also higher ranked when compared to their Men's World Cup's counterpart. So, as you can see, the ladies are second and the men are 13th. Now, I was really shocked by that because, you think of World Cup and you think of Germany and you think, they do really well. So, I was quite shocked to see that the ladies are, punching better weight there for the World Cup, and that was really interesting. So Germany, definitely a little one to watch. England and France are a little closer together. England ladies are third to men's fourth. France's ladies are fourth, just behind their men's team, who are currently ranked in second. The main take from this, I think, is that USA, Germany, England and France are the first places to start when we want to fill our fancy teams. It's like, effectively, in FPL, going back to last year's top scorers in the FPL league and the people who won the Fantasy Premier League, and making sure we fill our squad with those best players. So they're definitely the places we want to look first. Now let's take a look at the top all-time goal scorers. Marta there with 15 goals in 17 matches. However, I believe Brazil are a little off the boil at the moment. Despite winning the Copa America Femenina in 2018 and making their 8th appearance in the Women's World Cup finals tournament, they have lost all of their last 5 matches. So that's not great. Marta, though, is a proven goal scorer and could be a great fantasy asset depending on her price. Now, we're looking at 2 different games here, so there'll be different prices, but, I'm not sure if this could be an FPL kind of thing. It might be better to go with an attacker from a bad team rather than a defender from a bad team. If that's the case, then Marta might be someone to consider. Most others on this list, though, are not available on the fantasy games, so I'm on the assumption, and it is an assumption, that most of them are no longer playing. Wen and Sinclair are the only exceptions to this, so they might be worth taking a look at. Top goal scorers are up next, and these might be more helpful for our teams. Morgan, Summer and Kerr are all names I am aware of already. Medema and Lloyd are new ones on me, believe it or not. Now, in my She Plays team, I've got 3 of these, I think. So I might need to revisit my list on a couple of these women. But yeah, Medema is definitely an interesting one. She comes up a bit later again. So bear with me on that. Okay, now to the best bit, the inform players. Let's start with the assisters. Now, I feel like most of us will be filled up with our forwards because there are loads in the games. So it's a few of the other positions that will grab my attention here. We mentioned Germany earlier, so Huth with her 18 assists is an interesting shout already. I'm also instantly drawn to the only defender on this list, and bear with me if I get any of these pronunciations wrong because well, I'm not great normally, but I try. So Madri for France with 9 assists. If affordable, we all know I love an attacking defender, so Madri could be, she could be great. Then I'm looking at Puteles and San Pedro and Schwang, maybe cheap options. We may need to consider how far these teams may go in the tournament, though. China, interestingly enough, I do know, have often gone quite far, reaching the quarterfinals in the last 3 World Cups. So, they could be a bit of a shout. Now let's take a look at the informed goal scorers. I do also have some more information here created by @FPL_finesse, covering the last 5 matches these players have played in all competitions. So do make sure you go check him out and give him a follow on Twitter. I know he would love that. I will cross over and highlight the ones that are on both lists, the one by Fancy Bet and by Finesse. Medema is on both lists here with her 22 goals, but she's also scored 7 goals in her last 5 matches, so that's really interesting. And as you can see, she's an Arsenal player, so, just putting that one in there. Next is Sabatino with her 17 here, but also she does have 5 in her last 5 played. Now, coming to my girl, I'm hearing a lot about her, very interested to see how she's going to get on this World Cup, and that's Kerr. She was the first name on my team, just put her in. She's a little way down on this list on 17, but she's arguably, as far as I'm concerned, the most in-form player here, with 7 of those goals coming in the last 5 matches. So when I talk about form versus fixtures in FPL, Kerr is the one for my fantasy team as far as I'm concerned. Lastly, we have Schürrle. She has 14 league goals in the 18-19 season, but 6 of those have come in the last 5 of all competitions, so she could also be a great option. With all that in mind, let's take a look at my teams. All of these are subject to change. There's still a little bit of time to tinker, so, anything could happen yet. First, we'll check out my She Plays team. Do get in touch, as I do have a league code, which you'll see on screen, but we also have a little group chat on Twitter, which I'll chat a bit more about later. So do get in touch if you want to be involved in that. I won't bore you with all the details for each player, because with normal FPL, there will be a lot of fillers in this team for price reasons. So, I can't guarantee there's any rhyme or reason for a couple of these people. Plus, I need to understand the game a little bit more, and I won't know that until the first round is finished. So bear with me a bit here. Instantly, I noticed that Morgan is not on either of the lists we just talked about, but she is an in-form player, 4 goals in her last 5 games. She's a centre forward and should be a part of all the direct play for USA. Heath takes the spotlight in this team, there is no doubt about it, but Morgan is a great talent. The States play Thailand at first, and I would expect them to beat them easily, so that is why I'm looking at the USA for a few assets to start with. Now, Shaw has all the makings of a great story here. This is Jamaica's first time in the Women's World Cup, and it is all very cool runnings kind of feel to it. Shaw has scored 19 goals overall in qualifications for this World Cup. Now, that's more than any other player in the world. So I am excited to see her at the World Cup. I'm not sure how far Jamaica will go, but I am hoping that no matter how long she lasts, she can grab me some great fantasy points. And she's fairly cheap as well in the She Play games. So, that's great. What's not to love there? So definitely considering Shaw in my starting lineup. Now, I might consider Medina here though. As we just discussed, she's a really great player and so therefore a really great fantasy asset. But if I don't get her in this She Plays team, then I may put her in my fancy bet team a bit later on so that I can have her in at least one of my teams, because I'm definitely excited to see how she'll get on. Huth is in for her assist capabilities as discussed earlier, though she also has 3 goals in her last 5 games. And as I can't afford another forward in this game, I will go with Fleming, a youngster in this team and a main playmaker. She also has 2 goals in her last 5 games. Now we're getting to the point where we're starting to, fill up the midfield a little bit. So Putellis was on the assist list for the 18-19 goals in the league season. So she has a goal in her last 4 games. And as discussed, she's definitely on that assist list. So that's why I've decided to put her in. How far Spain goes in this competition is anyone's bet, but hopefully we will get to see a bit of Putellas' magic. And Majari has made it into the team for being one of the only defenders, as we seem to make it onto the assist team sheet made by Fantasy Bet. Plus, I expect France to do well, especially with the home advantage. So there's a few little people that we might be missing out here in the French defence. I'm aware that I might be spending more than I really need to on Madri, but I want to see how it plays out. We do get 1 transfer for free, and then I think it's -10 in the She Plays game if you want to make any more transfers, which is a little bit scary. It's a little more than what we're used to in normal FPL, but we'll just have to take that as it comes. I've just gone with, I guess, the proven known player for France in that position. I've also decided to go with a Canadian defender, as they have 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games. Sadorsky seems quite cheap compared to the others in the game. Now, I don't think she's any kind of fallback, which is worrying me slightly, is that I don't have many of those attacking fullbacks in my team. So I feel like defence is probably where I'm going to have to look to upgrade when it comes to the round transfers. But as I say, she seems to play most games and she's really cheap. So that's why she's in. But I'm not really sure why, so I guess I'll find out. This will be really interesting. And I am reliably informed that Lindahl is a seasoned pro for Sweden, and Sweden did have 3 clean sheets in the last 5 games. So that's why I've gone for her in goal. And then a complete cheapy bench and just a few others that I've picked out based on, the information I've been provided with. Now, I must thank at FPL_Hannah for all of her help. She has been a great source of answers to all of my many questions. So thank you, Hannah. You've been absolutely amazing. A bit lost, and it's always nice to have somebody else to chat to about this. We all have our kind of FPL friends that we yagger to during the season. So hopefully, Hannah won't get too bored of me asking too many questions. Plus, we do have a great private message, as I discussed earlier, on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, get in touch with me or any of the others that you know are in my league and let us know, and we'll add you in to the direct message, because it's all about the women's fantasy football there, and we're all about helping each other, so there's no rights or wrongs. Just get in touch and we'll add you in. There's lots of information there too. On to my FancyBet.com team. Now, I've gone much for the same players here, mostly because I do not know enough yet about the game to really switch things up. The rules are slightly different with this one. You only choose 7 players and pick a formation based upon that. I do believe that this is literally just for the first round, and then there'll be another game to play for the next round, and so on and so on. Make sure you pick the free game on their fancy bet like I've done here, but there are others. However, obviously, that's betting, so do gamble responsibly if you decide to do that. However, I've gone with the free game, and this is the team I've chosen. I've gone with attacking here because there's not so many players to choose from. I may switch out Van der Donk, though, for somebody with a little more punch here in attack. I'm feeling like this is all very safe at the minute, and I might like to use this team to be a bit more experimental, seeing as it's kind of more of a one-off thing and there's less players to choose from. So I definitely might look to go a bit more attacking in this team than is already there, but this is a first draft. Yep, any kind of, by 8 o'clock tonight, any little kind of sprinkles you think might be worth me sticking into my fantasy bet team, then do get in touch and let me know in the comments below or on Twitter so that I can get it changed in time. But that's it, you guys. For those of you new to my channel, as I said earlier, I do usually cover the Fantasy Premier League, FPL as we know it. You can check out my sponsor site, fantasyfootballfix.com. As I said, they've got a great pre-season pack, so you can get into all the promoted teams information and, set up your first team if you're itching to go, as I say. But thanks all for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content. If you want to see more women's content, then do let me know. But until next time, Nymphria out.